go. All right. I thought that was important. Let's do a little wide receiver watch. Philadelphia. All eyes, of course, are on A.J. Brown and a potential trade that's expected to come the beginning of next month. Over the weekend at a celebrity softball game, DeVonta Smith was asked questions about his teammate, and he wanted no part of answering them. He just basically kept saying, I've got a job to do. Everyone knows what no one will say, which is that A.J. Brown is going to be traded. And the question is, have they done enough to fill the vacuum? I mean, he leaves a big space behind. D. Wood, do you believe with the additions of Mekhi Lemon in the draft and all these other players they've drafted that they have done enough to replace A.J. Brown?
Well, listen, I mean, they've added some quality players, but I think this is more so about Jalen Hurts going into yet another offensive system. We know that Sean Mannion comes over, the new offensive coordinator comes over from the Green Bay Packers, and this offense is going to look very different from what we've seen from the Philadelphia Eagles in years prior. Years prior, we would see them basically chuck the ball outside the numbers of A.J. Brown, just basically throwing go balls and stuff out there. This offense is going to be more of inside the numbers. That's why you're going to go get a Mekhi Lemon. But that's not something that Jalen Hurts has really done a lot of throughout his career. So my question is, I want to see what the transition is going to look like in this new offense.
Yeah, for me, here's the big question. If you think about the group of receivers as like a basketball team, A.J. Brown was a power forward. The question is, they have a lot of good players here. Look at this graphic, Greeny. After A.J. Brown's gone, Dytavius Wicks is the biggest at 206, all the way down to 170 with a really good player in DeVonta Smith. So the question's going to be is, who can take some of that physicality that they're going to need to be successful, as D would allude to, going across the middle? I'm not saying they can't, but that's a big question mark going into camp.
Yeah, DeVonta Smith as the number one. Like, this is a Heisman Trophy winner, 10th pick in the draft. Like, the pedigree says he's a number one. But I think the point is important to note. Like, that offense is going to look a lot different. Even if A.J. Brown was still there, it would have looked a lot different. So it might take a little while for it to get going.
And so for it to look a lot different, do we expect it to then be better? The point is, you know, the leaks always come from inside the house. There are people inside that house that want to make the point that Jalen Hurts doesn't want to throw the ball in the middle of the field, not that he can't throw the ball in the middle of the field. Do we expect it to look a lot different, but will it look a lot better?
I think it has a chance, absolutely, because you could tie in the run game, and to D Wood's point, go under center, play action pass, turn your back to the defense. Like, the pieces, Greeny, are actually there to be very explosive. It's just going to have to come together.
Yeah, listen, the question I have with this Philadelphia offense is the offensive line has kind of been declining.
Yep.
So can they get those guys going? Because that's going to be central to this Philadelphia Eagles offense.
Okay, so we'll see what they're able to do. Dan Graziano, you were the first one who noticed it and passed it along to me this morning. Some very good. He said, chill. I thought we deleted all footage of this. That's all right, Mahomes. He went to football. That seems to have been the right decision. And speaking of him, Andy Reid said this weekend that Mahomes is on track to participate alongside his teammates at voluntary workouts this offseason, albeit perhaps in a limited capacity. Here's what the Chiefs head coach had to say about the progress that Mahomes has made so far. Remember, he got hurt in December.
He is in a good position to be able to do some things. If he can do some things, phase two, remember, is there's no contact, there's no offense versus defense. It's phase three that you get into that. He's in a position where he can do everything, I think. So.
What are we thinking here, Dan?
I think it's encouraging. I don't know that it's conclusive yet. I think, when Patrick Mahomes got hurt, recovery from this surgery, 9 months is about the earliest, and that would put him right around week one. So I don't think it's out of the question. His rehab has been, by all accounts, good and intensive. He has full faith in the Chiefs training staff, in particular Julie Freimeyer, who's the trainer that he's worked with closest. I think she's been obviously around him a lot this offseason. So encouraging that he's able to do that. But, Andy put the disclaimer on it. Like, he's not out there playing football. This is second phase of offseason workouts, very rudimentary stuff.
When you're running a team, one of your job descriptions is you're the CWO, the Chief Worry Officer.
Right, you're worrying.
All the time. And so one of the things you worry about, and we just saw with Jason Tatum, unfortunately, he has this Herculean comeback from an Achilles and unfortunately hurts his knee, and we saw what happened. And one of the things you worry about with Patrick Mahomes is, does he get a soft tissue injury? And I would err on the abundance of caution. Look, if we were the Chiefs, I'd rather go 1-3 in September with a healthy Patrick Mahomes than anything else. So it's awesome to hear where he is. But again, we're talking about Patrick Mahomes, and I just think taking our time and making sure that all these other ancillary issues are minimized as well.
It's actually an interesting point that came up. I forget who it was. Might have been you who said in the meeting this morning. The schedule release should come relatively soon.
It's
right?
this month. I don't think it's unreasonable to think it'd be next week based on history and when they usually do it. But yeah, that'll be a talking point off of that, right? What does the Chiefs' September look like? And how likely are they to have Patrick Mahomes for it? Or even if he does play, does he need a little while to get back to himself? So I think that'll be interesting to see.
If they wind up with a bunch of division, I remember the Chargers in that division last year had 3 division games to start their season. They won all 3 of them, and they wound up putting them into the playoffs. People are talking about, and DraftKings Sportsbook is saying the Kansas City Chiefs are the favorites to win the AFC West. Are they your favorites, Mr. Woody?
They are not. I have the Denver Broncos favorite, and for a variety of reasons. I think defensively, last year they were one of the top. I have no reason to expect for them not to be one of the best defenses in the league. Obviously, Bo Nix should come back from the injury he sustained last year.
Right.
They added Jalen Waddle on the trade, which to me is a big boost to that wide receiving core. They got a lot of pieces coming back, continuity. So for me, I'll take the Denver Broncos. And here's what I would say about the Kansas City Chiefs. We know that Patrick Mahomes sustained that ACL injury. They've added a ton of guys. I think a ton of high quality athletic speed on the defensive side. How fast can those guys gel on that side of the ball to allow Patrick Mahomes to kind of catch up from that injury he sustained?
Yeah, I love what they did in the draft. Again, they got Mansour Delane to replace Trent McDuffie. They got Peter Woods. They got R. Mason Thomas. So I think they got the pieces they needed. I agree with D. Wood. It may not come back overnight, but that is a heck of a draft, and you are attacking need after need after need. So, look, I think by the end of the season, if these players, come back to where, if they develop the way they can, and again, Delane to me has a chance to be an outstanding corner. They're skill players. They're going to have to play better and more consistent, but the pieces are there for them to win the division.
Well, Dan Graziano, I keep hearing people say the Chiefs need something to make their offense look a little bit more like it did when they had Tyreek Hill. And the answer might be, could they get Tyreek Hill?
They could. He's a free agent, and that's certainly been speculated on. We don't know where he is in his injury recovery.
That's what I mean. Is Tyreek Hill still Tyreek Hill?
I would think probably no. He's on the wrong side of 30, but I mean, he can still, assuming he comes back to full health, he can still run, and maybe that would give them something they haven't had. The offensive skill group, other than Kenneth Walker, doesn't look a lot different from last year, but they made significant changes on their coaching staff on that side of the ball. Like 5 or 6 positions were replaced on that side of the ball. So the hope is that there's an infusion on that end of it that helps bring everybody around.
I feel like if I'm Patrick Mahomes, and he come back from the injury, all that, got 3 Super Bowl rings, get it, all that, life could not possibly better be. But there's a part of me that feels like saying, I'm tired of having to have everyone say, look at the way Mahomes will just figure everything else out. We got to get the defense right. He'll just carry everything over I think that at some point they need to put something on his side of the ball. I thought they might take Kenyon Sadiq. I thought they might take Jordan Thomas. I thought they might take one of the other Jordan Tyson. I thought they might take one of the other offensive skill position players.
Yeah, I mean, listen, there was a lot of speculation of that, but I think to Graziano's point, when you switch out so many different coaches, I think they're relying more so on developing talent, having some of these younger guys taking another step forward in that development, and some of those guys, they'll be able to create the explosive plays rather than maybe we shouldn't have added other pieces to the puzzle.
They also did spend $14 million a year on a running back. That's Kenneth Walker is a significant addition to that offense.
Now they just need to actually hand him the ball. That's their favorite thing. All right, Graziano used to cover baseball. Give me a grade on this play.